Hello friends, happy Friday. It's a super cold day out where we live here in Ontario. It was about minus 30 Celsius this morning. So pretty chilly to be outside for too long today. So I'm doing something in the kitchen I thought I would share with you. I took a poll yesterday and asked who might be interested in seeing the how-to for making a safe natural deodorant with your essential oils. So that's what we're up to, and I'm going to show you step by step how you can do this. I usually make a supply to last the entire year around this time of year in January. I do up a batch and then I got it for the rest of the year, and it's just my favorite deodorant. I've tried lots of healthy alternative deodorants purchased from the store, and the one that I make is just my favorite, so I thought I would share it with you. So just before we get started, let's take a quick moment and consider some of the less desirable toxic ingredients that are often found in store-bought or conventional deodorant. So many of us already are aware to avoid deodorant with aluminum in it, but we also have things like parabens, which are disruptive to our delicate hormonal balance. We have things like phthalates found in the synthetic fragrance, so common in deodorants today. Also triclosan, which is an antibacterial agent that it's not only a known carcinogen, but it disrupts our body's microbiome balance. Propylene glycol, that's another one that you'll often find in deodorant, and that's disruptive to our nervous system. So these are all things that we want to avoid, and making our own batch of deodorant to last for several months just is a way to navigate past all of that. Also, along with that, if we think about our skin as our body's largest absorptive organ, and we think about the times of day that we apply a deodorant, often after a bath or a shower, when our pores of our skin are especially open and receptive to whatever we apply, whether it's harmful or helpful, our skin is absorbing that into our body. So applying a safe, natural, effective deodorant like what we're about to show you how to make yourself, infused with your essential oils, it contains none of those harsh ingredients that we just talked about. So we're able to kind of kick those out and invite in things that are actually going to aid our body's natural detoxification processes instead. Let's talk about supplies for making your deodorant. The first thing I like to use is a mason jar that is dedicated solely for this purpose. So when I'm done with it, I just put the lid back on and store it away for the next time so that I don't have to wash it. It stays sterile and clean because it's got just the shea butter and the beeswax and whatnot residue in there, so it's fine to just stash it away and start the next time where you left off. The other thing is a double boiler. This just happens to be great grandma's double boiler that I have here, but if you don't have a double boiler like this, where you put water in the bottom and a little bit in the top part as well, you can do a makeshift one with a larger and smaller pot. That would be just fine. And as far as containers for putting your deodorant in once it's made, I have little glass jars like these. You can order them on Amazon. There's little pet plastic smaller ones like this. You could also upcycle your Savvy Minerals containers and do up nice little labels for those for your deodorant. The recipe that I like to make is a whipped version to go in containers like that. You can tweak your recipe a little bit by adding a bit more cocoa butter or beeswax if you prefer a solid stick deodorant, and you can order empty containers like that on Amazon as well. But I prefer to do the whipped version and then just scooch a little bit out each time and apply it. That's the way that I like to roll. Okay, let's talk about our ingredients for our deodorant. The double boiler is getting fired up and it's a little noisy, so I'll try to talk loud enough that you can hear over top of it. The first things that you're going to want to source include an organic coconut oil. Okay, so the kind that is solid at room temperature. I like to find one that has no odor, it's aroma free. So you can find a brand like this that has no coconut flavor or aroma. And also shea butter. So organic shea butter, it comes in solid chunks like this. You can find it online or at a local health store. It also comes in a container. Raw shea butter. This one has just about enough left in it for our recipe today. Also, you are going to want to have some baking soda, which most of us have on hand in our kitchen anyway, and you only need a tablespoon or two of baking soda. And arrowroot flour or arrowroot powder, synonymous, it's all the same thing. Arrowroot powder you can buy at your local bulk store, local health store, and we are only going to need about 2.5 tablespoons of that. And bentonite clay, it can be a little harder to source. I really like the Redmond brand for its quality, but bentonite clay, it's that deeply cleansing and absorptive ingredient, and we only need about a tablespoon of that. So a container of the bentonite will last you for a long time. And if you want to do the stick version, you're going to want to add just a little bit of beeswax, about a teaspoon, and about 1/3 cup of cocoa butter. Cocoa butter comes in little calays like this. I like to add to my whipped version just a wee little bit of beeswax, and instead of 1/3 cup cocoa butter, I just put in 2 or 3 of these little discs, and I find it makes it a nice consistency in my little pot. It's not too creamy and not too firm that I can't scooch a little bit out. So that's kind of, I've tweaked the recipe a little bit just to my liking. You don't have to put any beeswax or cocoa butter in your whipped version. If you don't have any, it still turns out okay. Okay, so we are going to take all of our 3 or 4 ingredients that we want to melt in our double boiler and just pop them into the mason jar. So I have my 1/3 cup of coconut oil, and I've got my shea butter, and I'm actually using a combination today of some shea butter from the container and also a chunk, which will add up to my 1/3 cup that I need for my recipe today. So you're going to want to put that into your jar in your double boiler. And then also I'm going to put my little bit of beeswax and my tiny little bit of cocoa butter in as well. And we're just going to have to wait for a bit for those things to melt together in the jar. You can stir it with a spoon or with a glass stirring rod or something that you have to stir it with occasionally until it's all melted together, and then we'll show you the next step. While our ingredients are melting together, let's talk about which of the oils in your starter bundle from Young Living would be appropriate to add to your DIY deodorant. And the answer is just about any of them. The more that you learn about genuine, pure essential oils, properly grown and distilled from seed to seal like these, the more that you will come to understand that they all contain what we know they have the potential to, and that is all of the antis, the ingredients, the constituents naturally found in the oils that fight bacteria and are health promoting in so many ways. We won't get into the chemistry of phenols and things like that today, but pretty much any of the oils in your bundle you could add to your deodorant. Most people would choose some like lemon, the lavender, the frankincense, the copaiba, very soothing and has great constituents in it. You could use your thieves, and the Northern Lights black spruce would also be beautiful in your deodorant. So I'm going to be using a combination of 3 or 4 oils from the starter bundle and a couple others that I've grown to love as well. And so I'll show you that next. So step 1 was melting our solid ingredients in our glass mason jar in the top of the double boiler. Next, we want to pour our melted ingredients into a large bowl or a glass measuring cup like this, and we just want to pour it all in there just like that. And again, we're going to save our jar. Just put the lid back on and tuck it away for the next time. No need to try to wash it out. Next, we're going to take our melted ingredients and just stick them in the freezer for about 15 minutes. We don't want to leave it too long. We just want it to start setting up a little bit before we add our dry ingredients. Using a hand mixer, if you have one, it's super handy. Otherwise, you can use a regular whisk and some muscle power. Step 2, we're going to take our melted ingredients from step 1 that we've let set up slightly. You can put it in the freezer for about 15 minutes. I popped it outside today on the doorstep because it's so cold here in Ontario for about 7 minutes, and it became a little bit of a soupy, translucent texture. Like this is what you're looking for. Just starting to set up, and we're going to put our dry ingredients in. So the first ingredient that we will put in is baking soda. And something that you might not know about baking soda is that it's very alkalinizing, it's odor absorbing, as well as being mildly antifungal. So we're going to put our tablespoon of baking soda. You could do just 2 tablespoons of baking soda without the bentonite clay. Again, I like to add the bentonite. It looks like this. It looks a little bit gray, so it will give your deodorant a less white color. But I really have been pleased with the result when using half bentonite and half baking soda. So a tablespoon of each. It gives a smoother texture to the finished product, and I'm just really pleased with that. So I'm going to put my tablespoon of bentonite clay in as well. And the next thing will be the arrowroot. And arrowroot, again, is very absorbent. Arrowroot powder is synonymous with arrowroot flour. Again, it's available at your health store, your bulk store. But arrowroot has actually long been recognized as an herbal treatment, and will give you soft, smooth skin. It's known for its absorbency and antiseptic and anti-inflammatory properties. So in goes our arrowroot flour or arrowroot powder. To finish up step 2, we're just beating in our dry ingredients into our liquid. And once that's done, we're ready to add our essential oils. The oils from my starter bundle that I will be adding into my deodorant today include the lavender, lemon, frankincense, and the Northern Lights black spruce. So I'm going to add 3 to 5 drops of each. I'll just go with 5 drops of each of those 4 oils from the starter bundle, and I'm going to mix them in with my hand mixer, and then we'll show you the extra oils that I also like to add. I also love to add to my deodorant about 10 drops each of tea tree and Melrose essential oil. Melrose is a blend of tea tree, rosemary. Both of these are going to add extra antibacterial properties and provide more odor preventing properties, as well as both being really healing and soothing to the skin. If you just had one or the other, you could just go ahead and do 20 drops of that one oil or blend, and just realizing that my bottle of tea tree is almost empty. So in that case, I want to show you a little trick. When you get down to the bottom, if you're careful, you can use the lid to pop the orifice stopper out, and then just really slowly put your drops so that you can count as you go. 2, 3, 4, 5. And I had just 10 or so drops left in my bottle of tea tree, which is just perfect for today. And my Melrose, I'm going to go ahead and put 10 drops. So Melrose and tea tree, another couple of favorites. Also sage, I just love sage, and geranium for the aroma and also hormonal balancing properties. So I'm going to go ahead and just do 5 drops each of my geranium and my sage today. Geranium is, some people call it the poor man's rose. It smells very floral, very beautiful. And sage just gives it that herbal essence smell. And last but not least, I'm just going to warm my jar of myrrh in my hand for a moment because it tends to be very thick and resinous. But I love to add 3 to 5 drops of myrrh. Myrrh for centuries has been used as a fixative in preparations such as this, and it's also has all the beautiful plant power properties that we want in a natural deodorant. So very slow to drop. I'm not even going to make you wait, but I'm going to put 3 to 5 drops of myrrh in, and then we'll give it another whirl. And the last part of step 3 is just going to be pouring your well-blended mixture into your containers. The recipe makes about 8 ounces, so that's a couple of 4-ounce little jars or one sort of body butter size container. So you just want to pour it into your little jars or containers, and then you want to pop it into the fridge for about a half an hour to finish setting up. And then you can just store it in your bathroom or your bedroom or wherever you want to be using it. My extra jars, I just store them away in a cool place, and then when I run out, I can go grab another jar and I'm good to go again. And that's it. I hope that you have enjoyed learning with me how to make up a batch of safe natural deodorant using your genuine Young Living essential oils and some other basic ingredients. Once you have them on hand, you'll be able to do this anytime as needed. I will make sure that the step-by-step instructions are up on the website, that's dianajohnson.ca, in the personal care section there, and you'll be able to check that out anytime. If you're interested in a wholesale customer account with Young Living to acquire the essential oils and the other plant-based answers available to us from Young Living, reach out to me and I can help you set that up. You will be so glad to access these wonders for yourself and your family, for your personal care, and I know that you'll be just thrilled, as I have been. So reach out to me if you have any questions and I'll be happy to help you. Thanks so much for watching along with me, and we'll see you the next time.